What goes through your mind when you catch any of these fish?
I'm pretty locked in. A lot of people ask me, they're like, are you just sitting there waiting for the fish? Like, oh yeah, he's going to be coming up in the next 15 minutes or so. And you can't ever think that. I just remember seeing that fish come up and I was like, oh my gosh, this is insane. And after 24 years, they had broken the record. And then an hour and a half, 2 hours later, somebody else came in and beat it the same night. We've only been fishing TIFF for 2 years. And having all of the community just kind of take us in and like cheer me on and just be so excited for me was just so amazing to experience. You know, I never had a thought of I can't do this or maybe this fish is too much for me. I can never think that way because
You've landed on the science of fishing, where passion meets precision. Before we dive in, we would like to thank Bloody Battery, Sea Mule, and Black Reef Co. for sponsoring this episode.
What's going on, everybody? Mark here with another episode of The Science of Fishing. We're here today with Jaselyn Berthelot from Rising Suns. She's a kick-ass angler that participates in the Sport Fishing Championship, and we're going to get in it with her about everything that it has to do with fishing and how she's, 102 pounds? 103 pounds?
Just around that, yeah.
Yeah, and she gets in all those massive marlin. So what's going on, Jaselyn? Thanks for sitting with me today.
Yeah, nothing. We're glad to be here in Fort Lauderdale for the catch. So just hanging out, having a good time.
Are you excited?
I'm super excited, yeah.
This is going to be awesome. Right?
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to be awesome. I watched football, especially NFL, growing up with my dad for my whole life. So being able to meet these guys on the water and do something that I love is something I couldn't even imagine of doing when I was a kid.
You guys have Alvin on your boat, right? Alvin Kamara?
Yes. I'm so excited
You're
to
a big
see him.
Saints fan, right?
Yeah, we're a big part of Who Dat Nation. We've had season tickets there since I was a little girl.
Really?
So we've watched him ever since he came to the Saints. And we're big Kamara fans.
Yeah. You guys are from Louisiana, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. We're from right outside of Baton Rouge, almost straight across the river from LSU campus.
Okay. So for those at home that don't know you, right, that maybe have not watched the SFC as much and whatnot, tell me a little bit about yourself. You know, you live in Louisiana. Are you in college?
Yeah. So I go to college at LSU. I'm a senior at LSU. And I am majoring in animal sciences.
Okay.
So I'll actually be graduating in December of 2024 with that. I'm not quite sure just yet what I want to do with that, but we're still learning. We're still figuring it all out, testing the waters of everything I could do with that. So.
That's awesome. So what are you thinking with fishing? Do you want that? It's going to be a forever thing for you, right?
Yeah, for sure. I know 100% I want to be fishing the rest of my life, so it's figuring out what can sufficiently back that up and what can allow me to do that for the rest of my life.
Sure. So you fish, what is it, almost every weekend?
Over the summer, yeah, probably from about like the beginning of May all the way to the end of August, I'm pretty much fishing every week.
What about during the school year?
During the school year, we normally don't get out there too much. Honestly, in the Gulf of Mexico, it's kind of wishy-washy over the fall and winter, especially for fish and just weather conditions. Yeah. So, but sometimes I am going, like right now I'm still in school. Yeah. But, the first tournament for SFC, I'll be going straight back home and starting finals week.
Oh my goodness.
So, it's definitely a hard balance, but I've managed to do it for this long.
So how do you balance school and fishing? Like what goes on? Do the professors, are you like, I'm going to catch a big ass marlin, see you later?
Yeah. So you have some of those professors that are lenient, some of them that are not so much, but you get there when you can. Sometimes you miss some things. It just kind of depends. My dad actually caught the 2022 Mongo. He caught a 785 pound blue marlin in the Labor Day tournament. And I missed it because of a chemistry quiz. And
oh my goodness.
It was so heartbreaking to me not to be there, but I was able to get 100% on my quiz.
Well,
so
hey,
I guess
that's what counts.
Something came good out of it. But yeah, it's definitely a hard balance, especially when I'm fishing. If I'm in school, I normally have my computer out there. I'm studying any time that I get to sit down. So yeah. That's
cool. So how is it now participating in SFC? What's your take on it all? They're the new guy on the block, and they've made a statement, right? So
yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's definitely very cool. We made a lot of great friendships and relationships not only with the SFC staff, but also meeting the people that we might not ever meet that compete in the Atlantic division,
Right.
being able to meet them at events like this, like the Catch or other places, and learning, their methods of fishing and figuring out, we don't have those conditions down in the Gulf, but maybe we can use their methods to do this, or maybe we try to do this a little bit different, and we can learn, we can use their same methods. So being able to have, that whole nationwide aspect and like connecting all of those people through SFC is awesome, to be able to have all of those avenues of learning and everything.
Right. That's awesome.
In front of me, I have the Flushmaster by Seamule. This little device simplifies the process for flushing your engines. All it takes is 3 easy steps. Plug the hose into the device, plug the hoses from the device into your motors, and press on. That's all it takes to preserve the longevity of your motors, ensuring 100% clean water is running through them. So if you want to preserve your motors, go to seamule.com and go pick up a Flushmaster.
So let's talk a little bit about your fishing career now, right? We're done with school. School's done. You guys have done pretty well in the SFC, right? You guys have won the championship fish twice, right?
Yeah, so the first year we won the Tuna championship fish division, and then the second year I was able to catch a 52.2 pound wahoo, and I won the wahoo division last year.
So were you the angler on both those fish?
No, I wasn't the angler on the Tuna the first year. I think I was at home doing schoolwork.
School, yeah.
So, but
you're
yeah.
typically the angler, right?
Yes, most of the time I am the angler. It's honestly like such an honor to have all of these men trust me to be in the chair and be this role of our team. I couldn't imagine having them having all of that trust in me is just amazing.
Well, that's awesome. So let's talk a little bit about how that trust plays in on the boat, right? So you're the angler, you're the designated angler pretty much. What's the biggest marlin you've caught?
My biggest marlin, I don't know exactly weight-wise, but it was probably close to around anywhere between 500, 600 pounds.
Wow.
And he was probably 100 to 10, 112 inches long.
Jeez.
So, yeah, I caught him in Tift last year. He was, it was a 4-hour fight, and it was insane. He was coming up to the boat, and he was still lit up and, ready to charge after 4 hours, and I was I can't even believe I made it through 4 hours and he's making it through 4 hours. So, it was definitely an awesome fish to catch.
Right. You got a pretty cool title from that, right?
I ended up winning Texas Offshore Grand Champion at Tift.
It's a very prestigious title, right?
Yes, it is. So I was super excited to be able to do that, and having all those people. We've only been fishing Tift for 2 years. And having all of the community just kind of take us in and cheer me on and just be so excited for me was just so amazing to experience, because we come from a small town, so we're used to that a lot, just very big community aspects. So being able to have that down there and make us feel like home was awesome too. And to have people to celebrate with,
Right, yeah.
Because we were kind of down in a place where we didn't know a lot of people. It wasn't our normal group that we fish with, so being able to still have that aspect was amazing.
So what brought you over to that tournament? What made you guys go participate?
So our first year we were fishing the Sport Fishing Championship, and we were in 3rd place. So we actually had a really good chance. So we decided to take the trip down to Texas, to South Padre Island, and fish the SFC. And then we kind of fell in love with the community, like I said, and we loved the tournament. So we decided to go back the second year and hopefully try to get our points up. And we actually, I don't know where we were before, but I think we boosted ourselves up to 6th place in that tournament.
Okay. So. Very cool. So let's go back to that fish, right? That marlin that got you that title.
Yeah.
What was going through your mind? What goes through your mind when you catch any of these fish? Is it are you locked in go mode, blinders, like a horse running down a track, or what's going through Jaselyn's mind?
I'm pretty locked in. One thing a lot of people would think, a lot of people ask me, they're like, are you just sitting there waiting for the fish? Oh yeah, he's going to be coming up in the next 15 minutes or so. And you can't ever think that, because you don't know when that fish is I'm just going to dive down and go find another snack or whatever. They'll go down to that thermocline, or you might get them 50 feet up off of that thermocline, they go right back down. So I definitely am not like, okay, it's got to be almost here. Like, it's almost there. A lot of people will think sometimes, like, especially in that 4-hour fight, you know, I never had a thought of, I can't do this, or maybe this fish is too much for me. I can never think that way, because you start letting all that negativity in, and it screws you up. You make a wrong move and you could lose that fish right there.
Speaking of losing fish.
Don't.
We have to. What happened? Tell us.
So in the Biloxi tournament last year, we hooked up early in the morning, and it was a great bite. We could tell it was a big fish. We didn't know exactly what it was. It went straight down, so we kind of thought it was a tuna. And probably an hour and a half after fighting it, we got it up to the surface, and it was a huge tuna. Like, if you watch the video that we have, it looks like a bluefin tuna.
Yeah.
But we got it so close to the boat that, like, we were able to get underwater pictures of it, and it's a huge yellowfin, probably close to 250 to 275 pounds.
Big Allison.
Yes.
Sickles coming out of it.
Yes, the sickles were huge. I mean, they went from where they start almost past the tail.
Oh my goodness.
So they were like, he was huge. And I just remember seeing that fish come up, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is insane. And he like breaks the surface and then dives right back down. And I'm just like, okay, we've got to get this fish. So I'm making sure I'm locked in, I'm focused, making sure I'm doing. Yes, I was the angler. So I just wanted to make sure that I was locked in, I was doing everything perfect, wasn't too jerky with the rod coming up and down, and got it probably so close, like just shy of a gaff shot, and it chafed off. It ended up getting gut hooked.
Oh my goodness!
So the leader chafed in its mouth. It was a heartbreaker for sure.
Yeah.
It was really sad, and in the moment I kept telling myself, I'm like, you know, we had the opportunity to see that amazing fish, and like know they're out here, you know, like it's not every day you see a 275-pound yellowfin.
No.
So being able to see that was definitely grateful and an experience in itself.
Do you know what the record is? Would it have broke it?
I think it would have broken the state record for Mississippi. I think the state record is somewhere around 240, 250, but I could be completely wrong.
So that fish was bigger than that, though.
Yeah, it was probably close to it, but I think it was a little bit bigger.
So talk to me a little bit about the emotion. What happened? What were you feeling? You say it's a heartbreaker. People say everything's a heartbreaker.
Yeah. So
what were you feeling?
It definitely was sad, but I mean, and you know, you want to immediately just be pissed off at someone and just put all that anger on someone. Yeah. But honestly, it was a tackle malfunction that you don't know about. Having to, you know, think it was a tackle malfunction, but I mean, it chafed off. There's nothing you can't even really blame the tackle company for that.
Right.
So you kind of just have to, you know, like, something better is coming. You have to think like it's coming for you. It's in the cards for you. You got to see that. It made that a heartbreaker. So whenever that experience might be 20 years from now that I see another tuna, I might never see one, but maybe I see one that was 230 pounds or so, or 200 pounds. And it's, wow, that was just like that other tuna. And just being able to have that experience to, you know, like live back on when you get those other accomplishments, you know,
right.
Having it in the cards to maybe hopefully one day I do catch a 300-pound yellowfin.
I hope you do. I hope you do.
It's hard to not place the blame, but you definitely have to, you be sad about it, but you have to get over it and like push to get another fish, because if you just sit there and mope all day, you know, you just screw up your next fish, and you don't want to do that.
No, definitely not.
For those of you that don't know what this right here is a turtle box. A turtle box is a marine grade speaker. It's the best one on the market, y'all. If you guys want to go get one, check the link in the description. I always use it anytime I'm out there on the water, whether I'm at the beach, whether I'm fishing, wherever I am, this always comes with me. I love listening to the music, and the sound quality and audio is the best out there. Forget all the other brands. You need a turtle box.
So let's talk about something a little happier.
Okay. I'm game for that.
Yeah. What's your most memorable fish? What stands out to you when you say, oh, I caught this fish? What do you tell people?
I kind of have two. So that the Texas fish was definitely one, but I'll talk about another one. We caught in San Juan, Puerto Rico for the SFC finals the first year, so in 2022. On the boat, basically, you have two rods that we're like trolling with baits, and then we have two like pitch rods. So we are, and you kind of rotate. So it's me, my dad, and Cricket, and we're all like rotating stations. And our boat, we're sitting there rotating stations. We didn't catch anything the first day. The second day we were out there and we're fishing, and I'm on the pitch rod, and I've never pitched to a fish before just because normally we're catching big blue marlin in the Gulf of Mexico. So normally they come up and crash that live bait, blackfin or whatever it is. And you really don't have to pitch to anything. Sometimes we have a pitch bait on hand just in case something small comes up. But so we're out there in Puerto Rico fishing. I'm on the pitch, and this blue marlin comes up on the teaser. So I'm pitching out, and my dad and the other mate from the boat are right behind us right behind me talking me through it and telling me everything to do. And it went perfectly. Like I've never watched a pitch like go so perfectly as this one did. So I fed it to him, and like having that feeling of like listening to them talk to me, and like watching it all happen, and having the feeling of like feeling them eat the blue marlin eat the bait was just so surreal for me. Like being able to experience the whole thing, the bite, the hookup, and the catching. So I caught it, fed it to him, got the hookup, fought that fish. And it was like a once in a lifetime fight. I think that was my first time fighting a blue marlin on stand up as well.
Really?
So being able to do that, and experience all that stuff, and for it to go so perfect was just amazing. And then we had like the greatest celebration. We didn't end up winning. I ended up winning Lady Angler in that tournament, but
Nice.
it was like at the end of the day, like bite came at the perfect time, and it's just one of those, everything just happened so right.
Yeah.
And
so that's what stands out to
and
you.
just having that celebration with everybody after was just amazing. We didn't win. We caught that fish, but at the end of the day, like we caught it, and we had a healthy release, healthy fish swam off. So being
Very
able to
cool.
watch that is a celebration in itself.
Yeah. So you mentioned your dad and your brother, right? So you guys are running the boat, right? It's your dad's boat, right?
Yeah. So
Talk to me a little bit about the dynamic. Is he hard on you? Is he easy? What goes on? I know he's watching over here, so
yeah, he's definitely hard on me, but I know it's all for the better. He always wants me to be the best version of what I can be.
right.
It's definitely like we've grown closer through fishing. We were super close when I was growing up. I did everything he did. But being able to share such a big passion for offshore fishing made us so much closer. I probably started fishing 8-9 years ago, and I honestly didn't even think about reeling in a fish. I sat up on the bridge. At the time, my dad ran the boat too. So he would drive, I would sit right next to him, and he would tell me, okay, well, this guy that we have reeling in the fish, this is what he's doing right, and this is what he's doing wrong. And I caught on real quick, and probably after 2 years, I finally got my chance to reel in a fish. And then so he was up there cheering me on from the bridge for a couple years, and then we hired our captain Cricket, and now he's down in the cockpit with me. And honestly, I can't decide if I liked him up in the bridge or on the cockpit, because he'll talk to me a lot on the cockpit. I'm like, okay, leave me alone.
Yeah. You're like, I got this, Dad.
Yeah, but
Who's the better fisherman, you or him?
oh, definitely me.
Oh yeah.
He does have a bigger blue marlin right now.
Yep.
And he beat me by 2 pounds on yellowfin tuna,
Oh,
but yeah. I'm waiting. I'm coming up. I'm gonna catch a big one.
You will. You'll catch up.
And yeah.
I love it. I know that big blue marlin that he got was it was a state record that stood for 2 hours.
Yeah. So he caught in 2013. It was the Rising Sun's first tournament year.
Yeah.
And he caught the state record 789 pounds in the Blue Marlin Grand Championship. and it was beaten. He beat it after 24 years. He actually didn't catch it. He was driving the boat. We had a different angler, but they were, after 24 years, they had broken the record. And then an hour and a half, 2 hours later, somebody else came in and beat it the same night. Something you would never even think that would happen. So,
well, I'll sit down with him. We'll have a conversation here on the pod.
For sure.
We'll see what kind of emotion he shows with that one. I'm sure there's some anger, some happiness, there's some crazy stuff. But that's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
So, Jaselyn, you're at the catch. Mm-hmm. What are you looking forward to the most?
I'm looking forward to being able to meet these NFL players. I'm super excited to fish with them, see what kind of fishing experience they have.
Yep.
I've heard Kamara's kind of fished outdoor, or not fished, is kind of like an outdoorsy guy.
Yep.
So I'm interested to see like what he does. Just being able to see, like you make these people, like these NFL players, you make them so big and you make them like these, like you make them seem like these immortal people.
Right.
When at the end of the day, they're just normal day people like me and you.
Yeah.
So being able to like meet them and learn them and get to know that side of them is awesome.
Well, good luck to you out there. I'm looking forward to watching you, do your thing out there. Kick Justin Drummond's ass, maybe, maybe not. We're going to talk to him later.
I'd be happy to do that.
I love it. So, all right, we'll catch you later.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, no problem. I love to hear.
All right, guys, we just sat down with Jaselyn Berthelot. It was an awesome conversation, guys. She's going to be participating in all this SFC season. It's going to be kick-ass. We're going to have a lot of fun with her throughout the season, and this won't be the last time you guys hear from her. Check you later.
Thanks for joining us on the Science of Fishing. We hope that this episode was helpful and you learned something for the next time you're wetting a line. Before we cast off, a special thanks to our sponsors, Bloody Battery, Sea Mule, and Black Reef Company. Stay hooked by following us on social media at Science of Fishing and hitting the subscribe button. And if you know someone who'd enjoy this, please share it with them. Until we meet again, catch 'em up.